Unfiltered and uncensored. Kevin Trudeau's naturalcures.com exclusive member site.
For instance, the sinus cavities. When the sinus cavities, according to the ancient solar science, when they were clean and clear, when they were actually vacant cavities, they acted as sympathetic resonators that picked up and transmitted information in the airwaves, which is an interesting way of explaining what we consider now a phenomena which we label telepathy. Well, all things are connected. If you have a lake, and the lake is still, and you take a pebble, and you toss that pebble in the lake, well, what happens? You have a ring. It's a concentric circle. That circle continues, and you have several circles until it reaches the shoreline. Well, now that's pretty obvious. If you walk out into the woods, if you take a few steps out our back door, you have created the same thing as throwing a pebble in the lake. That one footstep creates a concentric circle. Now, how is that? One step out the door, and all of a sudden, a squirrel flurries. A bird calls to another bird. Another step. Now it's not the song of birds, it's the call of birds. But when the birds call that someone's there, the insects in the forest make their corresponding warning sounds. They rustle this way, they rustle that way. And all of this moves out until the circle hits the shore. So you see, when an animal walks through the woods, you may not see that animal. It may be a mile away. But if you are so sensitive to the concentric circles that exist in nature, and your antennae is finely tuned, you know that a coyote or a wolf just walked across a pasture in yonder field. Because the domino effect, it comes boom, 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 right down to you. And now you feel it. You feel it because you feel it also in the energy of your body. You see, when I did that thing earlier, when you were holding your hands, and when I reached my hands towards you, the energy you felt was my concentric circle. It was my energy touching your energy, but you were so sensitive at that point because I had you concentrating on the energy, that you could feel it without seeing me. And the effect was quite profound. Now, again, as we did this simple exercise this morning and yesterday morning, we've done it for several days now, building up this energy field. When you build up that energy field, it starts to take on a greater reality. What if you were holding a 4x4 piece of timber between your hands? You feel it. You can't push against it. It's that hard. It's that strong. So what if I took my hand away and I grabbed the other end of it? Now I've got this piece of energy. It's like a 4x4. And if I take it over here and I push really hard, would this move? It all depends on the strength of what I'm pushing it with. So if the strength of what I'm pushing it with is very strong, then yes, it will have a definite effect. But you see, your energy field is very, very subtle. And because the energy field is so subtle, this force then becomes more than enough force to assist in that energy field. So if I see within the energy field that there are hot or cold pockets, or if there's a thickness that doesn't seem to feel right, it's simple, because when you feel it, and being very sensitive to your hands, you can feel it. You come down until you feel it. And then you simply take it away. You simply take it away. That's how the body heals. What I'm doing there is no different than what we spoke about as being fresh and raw foods. Now, this seems very mysterious, and it's shrouded in superstition, and I don't mean to make it that way, because it has got to be real. You have got to have visible, measurable results before you embrace anything. It has got to be absolutely the truth. Now, as we said earlier this morning, that when we eat live, raw foods, what we're doing, we're stripping the foods of its solar radiation. What is the solar radiation? The solar radiation is the life force of the food. It's the life force that it surrenders of itself to us. We take the life force, process the life force, and it in turn, it invigorates and stimulates the body, and then the life force itself moves on. But as long as the flow is moving, you have power. As long as the flow is moving, you have electricity. You know, not too far from here, there's an old mill wheel. That old mill turns by the river, and if you had magnets on the other end, you'd have an electric generating plant. You see, the water is like the food that just flows through. The food, with its solar radiation, just comes by, and it turns the wheel. That's all it does, it turns the wheel. The wheel, in turn, generates electricity. It generates power. The power itself then is transmitted to whatever source of productivity it is required for.